Alright, get ready to have your funny bone tickled. It's another Tales from the Goof Side. This is Season 3, Episode 15, My Own Place of Tales from the Dark Side, but this doesn't feature any of the Dark Side part. Instead, it's Tales from the Goof Side. It's a comedy episode. And it shares a lot of similarities from an episode we covered before, where a guy moves into an apartment and he gets a quote-unquote genie, I guess you could say. Feeling very similar to episode 10 of season 1, Digi No Chaser. Another very low rated episode. This time we don't exactly get a genie, but we get a guy from India who acts like a genie and is a ghost that lives in this apartment. So our main character is Sandy, who's an investment banker, but he seems to be not making very much money since he's looking for a cheap apartment. In this case, he gets an apartment for $280, which in today's money would be around $880 per month. And you can already see the apartment looks quite big. It overlooks, you know what, Central Park, of course. It's another one set in New York City. And so why is he getting this good deal from this Indian landlady? Well, it's because this apartment has a roommate, well, a ghost roommate by the name of who's played by Harsh Nayar, who actually isn't a bad actor. He was in 1997's Men in Black as the news vendor. That's where I recognize him from. But he was also Yusef in 2004's Hidalgo. He can be a good actor, but he's terrible in this, and honestly, the script gives him absolutely nothing to work with. You do get a bunch of weird racial Indian jokes. I don't know if they're trying to say the main character is racist, or this is just the 80s, they think it's funny. But like, Sandy will tell Narm to go get his curry and make fun of his accent and tell him to go back to India. I don't even want to give them any credit to say there's any social commentary here. Joke's funny, it's funny. I don't really care what it is, but wow, all these fall flat. And that's pretty much everything that happens in this episode. Sandy also has a girlfriend, and she cannot see Narm. Since he is a ghost entity, only Sandy can see him. And he just appears in this apartment, sits cross-legged, does a terrible fake accent, makes a corny joke about being an Indian, and then disappears again. It just annoys him. He doesn't seem to have any magical powers. He doesn't do anything scary. There doesn't seem to be any point for him to be there, except for just to annoy Sandy.
But I like it here, Sandy.
Also, it's not like he's trying to drive him out of this apartment, since the landlady, we learn at the end, is in on this ghost gag. So not only is there very little that happens, it doesn't even make sense, or even try to make sense of a storyline. And I read some reviews on this to see if I was like missing anything. Is there some like deeper meaning? Nobody can figure this one out either. Sandy moves into an apartment that's cheap. He has a guy from India named Ram that just annoys him the entire time. And we get a few flashbacks to, I guess, Ram's life in India for a second or two that make you think, wow, maybe something else is going on. And then we have an ending that at least has a bit of energy, where of course Sandy gets killed, and we learn that the person who gave him this apartment was in on this. Like, what does she gain by just renting an apartment to someone and killing them? Make any sense? See the ending where she now rents out the apartment to another unsuspecting lady. Ooh. So she rents out the apartment for a cheap price. Everyone jumps at it. She then has a ghost, and then people at the end, they just kill him. They don't get anything out of this. There's no blackmail. It's just a ridiculously poor episode. And even the way that they kill him, I guess, is the best part of the episode. They have kind of a horde of people from India that just sort of jump on him and press their arms against him. You don't really see any blood or anything. But I guess he gets killed by ghosts from India. So I don't really know who this appeals to, and rarely do you see a script that is this inept. Usually there's at least some type of a point or even a twist ending or something they try to throw in there. In the Joel Solo episodes I talk about that I bash, she's trying to do some type of moral tale about listening to your parents or something like that, but you just get nothing here. I mean, I don't know what to give this episode. I guess I would give it a 2. The only part that's even watchable is the last 2 minutes where he gets killed, but it's all for nothing. There's no reason he gets killed. They don't get anything out of it. He doesn't get anything. And Tales from the Dark Side Season 3 has taken a downturn. You actually have a talented actor in here. The guy who plays Ram is pretty talented, and the guy who plays Sandy is Perry Lang, who seemed to find more success as a director than an actor, directing episodes of the show Weeds and Men of War. But there's another low-rated episode, has a 5.1. I'll attempt to find a positive review. Will I be able to find one? But rarely do I recommend to skip any episodes, since I want you to suffer with me. But yeah, you can totally skip this one. Nothing happens. Nancy Travis played the girlfriend Laura, and she was the main character in Michael Myers' So I Married an Axe Murderer. And also Rita Baker in The Vanishing. And once again, a good actress, especially in So I Married an Axe Murderer. She's really funny in that one. But this episode just can't come together. So this person gave it a 3 out of 10. Weird. This is a pretty bad and weird episode, indeed. It's cool to see a young Nancy Travis, but that's where the entertainment factor fades. Even after it ended, I'm not sure what this episode was trying to say. Me neither, that's what I'm saying. Was the landlord in on it? If so, why? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The landlord you see her in the beginning, and then you see her in the end. You don't see her in any other parts. I'm gonna lure people into my place and have a ghost kill them. At least say like the ghost needs to feed or something stupid like that. To be honest, it's not even worth your time thinking about the answers. It's worth my time. 4 out of 10, unlikable racial comedy. That is one description. My Own Place is a unique but fairly awful episode of Tales from the Darkside, which came towards the end of Season 3 and involves a guy who rents a new apartment only to discover that his roommate is this mysterious Indian guy who sits cross-legged and goes, That's why I think he's supposed to be like Genie. Who's been dabbling in black magic and who plans to make the protagonist his new victim. I wish we got to see some black magic, and I wish we got to see him do something to the victim, outside of just kind of randomly killing him at the end. The story is played for broad racial laughs, with an over-top and stereotype portrayal of an Indian mystic. Main character Perry Lang was a one-time minor star who appeared in the likes of The Hearse, so it's no surprise seeing him trying his luck at this show. Sadly, My Place is as dumbly written as many others from this season. The season is actually pretty decent, but this is Tales from the Darkside. You have like 4 good ones, then you are gonna run into a terrible one. There's only 3 things that are inevitable in life: death, taxes, and after 4 good Tales from the Darkside episodes, there's gonna be a terrible one. Next up is episode 16, Red Leader, dealing with the devil. Another one that has some comedic moments, but at least this one would fall into the Tales from the Darkside motif, since it at least attempts to be a little scary. Check out our playlist for all episodes of Fear Itself, Monsters, Tales from the Darkside. Of course, we're running through this series. We're almost done with Season 3. Cowboy Bebop, Black Mirror, and Pet Shop of Horrors. Thanks a lot.